Well, good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you are, whatever you do. A lot of things happening in the world today, most of them far beyond our control, you might say. So perhaps it's time we took a pause and thought about life, thought about the laws of gravity, human behavior, New Year's, old years, next year, whatever year you want it to be. Don't touch that dial, just try to hear me out for a little while. There's really no agenda today, really nothing going on. It's just the end of the year. It's the last day of the year. And I thought it might not be a bad idea to just kind of hang out for a little while. So we're hanging out on the Zoom meeting. We're just here. I'm just trying to post it. That's all. Looks like I'm trying to do too many things at once, but I am. So I'm just here. The football game's on. Football game is, well, it is. I'm not making this up. It's the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, featuring the Central Michigan Chippewas versus the Washington State Cougars. It's kind of a big deal around here because Washington State, where I live 16 miles west of Seattle, but of course the Puget Sound is in the way, so it's, a multiple hour trip doing that. But at any rate, the bottom line is that there's this rivalry between University of Washington, which is in Seattle, and Washington State University, which is in Pullman, way east of here. And it's weird how many people split on that. It's just one of those things anyway. So Washington, of course, sucked this year. They didn't go to a bowl game, but Washington State got to go to the Sun Bowl, sort of the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. And in the process of going to the Sun Bowl, the team they were supposed to play, I think it was UCLA, had to drop out because of COVID. And after they dropped out, they couldn't find anybody to take their place. So Central Michigan was supposed to be in Tucson and whatever bowl's over the air. And the team they were supposed to play dropped out. So Central the Chippewas ended up over here in this game. And anyway, it started out as not a very good game, but now they're into the fourth quarter and it's within 7 points. So turned out to be more entertaining than I thought it would be. Although the halftime show was the remarkable one, because the halftime show is all about getting ready for the college football playoff tonight, which is, look, I hate the college football playoff. I'm not gonna diddle around the bush on that one. I hate it. But at the same time, it's interesting to me because I don't know. I guess I like football. I don't know. And the bottom line is that you end up with this idea here that, what was I going to say? I don't even remember what I was going to say. Anyway, the college football playoff tonight, they were doing all the pregame for that, and they were showing I told you there's no agenda today, so my mind is just going to, and they were interviewing one of the kids, and I'm not going to tell you who it was because it's not fair to him. But I am absolutely convinced that we've got to drop this pretense that somehow or another college football athletes are quote unquote student athletes. They're not. We've just got, and of course now with this name, image licensing, NIL, we've kind of taken the first step to get past that. But the bottom line is that there's this idea that somehow or another these student athletes are some sort of just sort of geniuses, and they're not. And this kid, they're interviewing him, and I swear to God, he actually said, this is an exact quote, "We got an opportunity to do something that's never been done before in a very long time." And I thought to myself, this kid, he's probably majoring in communications because that's what they do. At the line, you find yourself wondering, what in the world is going on with our higher education system? And can we please stop pretending that college football, NCAA football, particularly Division I football, is in any way, shape, or form anything other than a minor league for the NFL? Because that's all it is. There's no actual collegiate football here. It's just minor league, National Football League, and that's. They might as well pay them. I mean, they're going to now anyway. Name, image, likeness, NIL stuff. They got players up here doing ads for crap that you wouldn't believe. It's like, what the hell? Anyway, I like college football, but I prefer professional football. Professional football is actually good football. Collegiate football, it's so the levels of it are so variable that it drives me insane. I mean, you get some of these teams that are, I mean, let's face it, some of these teams are really, really, really good, and some of them just really suck. And it kind of depends on, where you're at. And I think it's 123 schools now in Division I, which seems insane to me. There are days I think 32 teams is too many in the NFL, but 131 is just too many. And even with the conference issues that they're having, and Oklahoma's going to move to the SEC. Sorry, I told you there's no agenda. I don't have any notes. I don't have anything today. So sometimes my brain is going to go, smoke's going to come out. And I'm literally, since it's New Year's Eve, as you can see here, if you're watching the video, it's snowing. It's not snowing. Actually, it's actually quite nice out right now. But there's snow on the ground, ice on the ground, and so nobody's going anywhere. And I had to go out and I had to take Cammie to get coffee because we do that every day. It's like our date, right? Every day we go get coffee. And for someone who is, I don't know, not addicted to coffee, she's addicted to coffee. She doesn't even drink coffee. She drinks, follow me here. What she drinks is not coffee. It's a gigantic tub full of sugar-free vanilla and sugar-free whatever. I mean, it's not even real. There's coffee in it. I'm sure of that, but there's no actual. It's not coffee. And then she gets me drinking this stuff and say, I don't know if you can see that or not. You can see that it's much more tan than I would normally drink it. She makes me get this because if we're going to go to Starbucks, don't get just regular coffee. You can get regular coffee at home. And in fact, we have piles of Starbucks coffees, ground, bean coffee that we grind up. You can get that at home. So we're going to come here. You got to get something normal. You got to get something Starbuckian. So I get believe it or not, it's a black and white mocha with reduced. I mean, normally they put in a grande, which is this size, they put 4 pumps of each, 4 pumps white chocolate mocha, 4 pumps of regular mocha. And it's just, I mean, it's so sickly sweet, you can't drink it. I mean, it's impossible to drink. So I get it with 1 pump of each, just enough to give it some flavor, just enough to give it some oomph without actually destroying my life and the like, because I just can't take that. It's too much. And so, well, there you go. I've done that. So anyway, I set up this meeting. I didn't see, I told you I was going to get confused. I was going to get bizarrely off beat and try to get into Never Land. But anyway, I opened up the room and people are starting to to pop in now. We'll see who they are and see who's joining us, see who's going to come in and just kind of hang out for a bit as we spend the last day of the year, potentially the last day of a peaceful universe. I don't know if you knew that or not, but what the hell is that? I think my cat's
greetings and salutations.
I think my cat's in the room. Is that Rod?
It is.
Rod's on the phone. He's in Modesto. Rod, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon.
How are you? Yeah, Happy New Year to you. See, I hate this whole Happy New Year crap. Can I tell you why?
No, you didn't.
Because it's just a construct on a calendar. It's not real. There's no actual. I mean, Jewish New Year's in September, Chinese New Year's in what? May or something?
Something like that.
These things are all over the place. And so somewhere along the line, and it's not even the first one. I mean, remember they changed the calendar in what, the 1500s or something?
Yep, something like that.
And some countries, I'm not going to name the names, Russia, are still on the old calendar. So it's not even Christmas yet where they are.
How funny.
So I don't know. I always get uptight about this whole Happy New Year thing. It's just weird to me, but anyway.
I get uptight about the whole New Year's resolutions. I mean, what's so special about this day? Why couldn't you have done it 2 weeks, 10 weeks ago, something like that?
Well, and see, that plays into this whole fake New Year thing, right? We're gonna turn over a new leaf in this fake New Year. Why not on a fake new week? I mean, I saw the other day where somebody says, "How do we know that today is actually Friday?" No, I mean seriously. Other than somebody telling us that means that somebody had to keep track of it every Friday since the very first one. Well, what if they missed one? I've gotten confused about the days. Have you?
I have at times. It depends on how busy I am.
My wife works nights, and it is not unusual for her to ask me almost every day, "What day is it?" So how do we know that the guy that was in charge of the calendar all those years ago, what day of the week it is, didn't tie one on at some point? Even for those of us that are Jewish, I mean, okay, Friday nights to Shabbat, Sabbath, and all that, but Jews drink.
Well, I mean, Jews have a little bit more motivation though to get the date correct, right?
Well, we do, but we drink on occasion. In fact, we have a holiday where we have to get drunk. So, is it possible that we missed a day there somewhere? How do we know for sure that it's definitely Friday?
I don't know. That's a good question. Very good question.
I'm starting to work on What the Frock. We'll be back on What the Frock on January 9th, which is
indeed we will.
And I've already got the question of the show for you. You ready? You can start working on it. How do you make yourself more attractive to the opposite sex?
Ooh. That's kind of a. You don't want me to answer this now, right? We're gonna talk about it on.
No, I mean not particularly, because we actually have some scientifically proven methods for doing this. So it's likely that whatever you're doing is wrong anyway.
There's generalities, right? As to I know that there are certain body types that are for men that women are attracted to in general.
Yes. Do you know what those body types are?
Off the top of my head, no. I have broad shoulders, but they're shoulders.
No.
Broad shoulders, but there's
you're
shoulder to waist ratio.
You're completely wrong. It has nothing to do with any of that. Do you know what the most attractive body type is to females?
There. Go ahead and hit me.
The two-door coupe.
Okay, I wasn't even thinking cars.
Most people aren't. But they have scientific studies that show that women are more attracted to men in fancy cars than they are attracted to men who have practical cars.
Yeah.
Which could lead to a whole different discussion about truck sizes, because I have my theories about people who drive giant trucks, but
Well, and then you have the whole dichotomy between the urban and the rural areas, and
right.
Trucks are going to be more popular in the rural areas.
Well, I think they're more popular in the urban areas, but the problem is, what are they overcompensating for? Because really, you don't need a giant truck where we live. I mean, you just don't. but you'd be
That
amazed
is
at how
not
many.
the case where I live.
Be amazed at how many there are. I bet there's per capita. I bet we have as many, if not more, than you do per capita, just on my block. And I drive my little Chevy Colorado because I like it, and people say that to me all the time. You know, it's like, well, you got a small truck. Yes, that's because I have a large, and I leave it at that. I don't need a big truck to overcompensate.
I used to have a Ford Ranger.
Yeah.
Back in the day, drove it into the ground, and
yep, I did the same with my S10. Man, and when I bought the Colorado, God, the Colorado was 15 years old. When I bought the Colorado, I wanted another S10. I went to the Chevy dealer and was looking for an S10. Oh, we don't make those anymore. But here's what we make instead.
Yeah.
I said, I'll take it. Does it come in red? He said, yep. I said, I'll take it. That's what I ended up with. So what are you doing for New Year's Eve?
Honestly, I'm going to get the smoker going and smoke some chicken thighs and chicken legs and have a nice meal. And I will probably be sleeping when it actually hits midnight.
Well, I guarantee I will be. Cammie works tonight. I guarantee I'll be asleep.
I do try, and I wish they'd bring fireworks back over New Year's, because that's the safer time for us in California to go actually light them off, because usually everything is wet. But I try to. I've got one of those Chinese sky lanterns that I'll probably let go. I'll probably fire that up and send it off.
Now, isn't that the floating firebomb?
Well, it's a firebomb. I mean, it's got a fuel source that only lasts for so long. Like, they say it's like 10 minutes, but I don't think it's lasted that long when I've done it before. And it's basically a paper lantern. I actually had one year that it's kind of caught fire in my hands, and I'm like, okay, well, we're done with that experiment.
And you're going to do it again?
Yeah, I'm going to do it again.
I've seen those one time in person. It was a 4th of July Independence Day celebration, and somebody set off like 20 of them. And
that's cool.
Yeah, it was cool until everybody has to start grabbing fire extinguishers because,
Yeah.
And they did it over a lake, though. So,
yeah, I had one go over. Let's see, one went up really high up. It was a cool night, and it went over Oakdale before the flame went out, and then I don't know where it went after that.
We'll see. It probably poisoned some birds somewhere.
Probably.
That's what ammunition does that, right? Because in California, birds eat bullets. No, I'm not making this up. They get lead poisoning from
bird shot.
Bullets. Yeah, and so we had not we anymore. You guys had to ban lead ammunition.
Yep.
Which is insane, but it's lead. It's a natural product. It's a byproduct of uranium.
Mm-hmm.
It's depleted uranium, lead. Oh yeah. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I think
it is California.
Yeah, I think we're Cammie will be at work, so I will probably watch the New York City ball drop because I'm in the Pacific time zone, so that'll drop at 9, which is nice. And then I may have a drink, and then I may just go to bed.
Yeah, going for that Wyoming whiskey.
Yeah, I probably will have. Well, see, the problem with that is if I start taking shots of that, then I can't really just stop at one. I mean, it's that could be problematic. I got some really good. My daughter got me a really nice bottle of Patron for Christmas.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
I might dig into that just because I'm.
Shots of tequila, or are you going to do margaritas?
Well, I'll start with margaritas, but I'll probably end up with shots. And the problem is, I don't want to drink the whole bottle in one night because then I'll wake up dead. Probably.
Well, then you won't remember it in the next morning. So what's the point?
Right, and then I'll be like, "Who sat here and drank my tequila? Who drank my drink?" Grandfather used to do that. He would come in, some big ugly mug just sat here and drank all my soda. Who did that?
I had a friend once who couldn't handle Patron very well.
Really?
Yeah, she would get. I'd start getting some very funny texts that she wouldn't remember until the next day. It's like, did you really want to text me that?
Well, you know what they say about tequila.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife won't drink it either. My wife doesn't. Here's a weird thing. My wife quit drinking after she married me, and I'm not sure how to take that because I've spent the better part of 13 years trying to get her drunk, and I can't even get her to drink. I think she's had 4 drinks in the whole time we've been married.
It's better than she starts drinking when she got married to you. I guess. So mine's the same way. My mine doesn't drink at all, hardly. It's very rare, but she drank before we were married. We'd go out and have cocktails and stuff like that.
Right. I mean, she used to regale me with tales of her drunken debauchery, and then she married me, and it's like, well, where's the drunken debauchery? When does that happen?
Why can't I see that now?
Right. I'm kidding, honey. If you're listening, she did quit drinking after she married me. So I don't know why. Why would she do that? Why am I trying to figure out? Why do I care?
You need to ask her.
I have.
Am I supposed to take it personally that you stopped drinking once we got married?
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, there's that. So what do you got planned for 2021 other than what the frock?
Well, my big project was getting my backyard done, and that is pretty much done. I think I have one more big purchase, and that would be a fire pit and maybe some furniture for the back. But my backyard, the pool, everything is done. So I don't know. I have to kind of like re-go through and take an inventory of things of the work I need to do around the house. I know the garage desperately needs to be cleaned out, and so that's probably something I need to do.
I saw a really nice one on, where was I? Trying to remember where I was. Costco. Saw a really nice fire pit. I thought would be cool, but why am I doing this?
Yeah.
I don't really know.
I'm thinking of propane pit because I don't want to actually burn wood. It's a lot harder to do in California anyway. So I just get a propane one. Yeah.
I was going to say that was it. There's no point in even buying a wood stove in California anymore because the Valley Air District will be all over your butt.
Yeah, I sometimes want to report my neighbor. My neighbor has a wood fire pit that they burn in their backyard. Unfortunately, they sit in the line of the Delta breeze as it comes from their house to my house. So if we have our windows open at the time that they decide to do that, our house gets full of smoke.
Ow! Well,
yep.
Guess you really can't. I don't know what's the word for it. You could turn them in, but then that just starts neighbor warfare, doesn't it?
Yeah, it would. I texted them and said, "Hey, just a heads up that when you guys do that and it's any slight wind or anything like that, all that smoke comes to our house. So just heads up." And they said, "Thank you." And they've only done it a few times since then, but in the winter, I don't really care because we don't open up our windows.
We have a small fire pit that my wife got some years ago, and the girls take it out back and they put it right underneath my office window. It's like,
great.
We want to have a fire. It's the hottest freaking day of the year. It's like July. We want to have a fire. No, not there. You're not. I mean, you're going to take it out the front yard. Go ahead, but
yeah,
I'm not doing it there. Good Lord.
My rule would be just don't roast marshmallows because I would get sick.
You don't like the marshmallows, huh?
I can't. I got the flu once when I was a child, and it was on a camping trip, and I had a number of different things on that camping trip that I've never had since. And,
dude,
roasted marshmallows and hot cocoa. The smell of those two, not together but separate, just like. Ugh.
So how's this for breaking news right in the middle of the show? Which isn't a show. I mean, this is literally just me hanging out. How's this for Betty Davis just died?
You mean Betty White?
Betty White. Yeah, Betty Davis is already dead. Betty White just
yep.
At 99.
Days away from her 100th.
I was going to say, I just read an article. I swear to God, I read an article last week where she was talking about how to live to be 100.
Mm-hmm.
Her secret for living to be 100. Secrets to a happy life at 100. Here it is. It's People Magazine. Betty White reveals her secret to a happy life at 100. I'm so lucky to be in such good health. And she talks about how she lives. I try to avoid anything green. I think it's working. Well,
I tried to avoid anything green.
Betty White dies, man.
Yeah.
She was the last of the Golden Girls, right?
I believe she was, yeah.
I don't know.
Natural causes, it says.
Yeah. Well, 99. I mean,
Yeah, well, they're not going to do a lot of in-depth work to figure that one out.
Natural causes plus COVID, I'm sure.
No, they said that she wasn't ill or anything like that. It wasn't a sudden illness or battling any particular ailment.
You watch. How much you want to bet she recorded a PSA just days ago urging people to get their COVID Omicron vaccination booster?
Right.
If only she'd gotten it.
There was a thing between Ryan Reynolds and her where they just last few days on Twitter where they tweeted about each other.
Really? Why did I miss
find
that?
It?
Ryan Reynolds. I guess they did an interview. Ryan Reynolds.
Well, I know.
He can't get over her or something. Betty White. He can't get over her. The two starred in the 2009 movie The Proposal. And ever since, Ryan Reynolds has been publicly calling her his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely sick of the media exploiting past relationships just to drive clicks. That's funny.
He's a marketing genius.
I kind of used to do that. I don't know if you knew her or not. Betty Bell Smith was a Modesto icon back in the day. And I used to be her escort on, there was an annual dinner thing that they did in Stanislaus County. And it was at all these different restaurants, and she would go around to thank the donors and stuff. And I was her escort for that. And I got to drive her car, and I would joke about being her date.
That's funny.
Yeah. She and I got in an argument once over the Gallo Center. She says, "Oh, people are going to come from everywhere to see performers at the Gallo Art Center." And I said, "Betty, it's Modesto. Nobody's going to come from San Francisco to the Gallo Art Center. It's not going to happen." And I went, it wasn't opening night, but Leon Fleischman came to play some Beethoven at the Gallo Center, and I went. And I ended up sitting next to people who had come from San Francisco to see it.
Oh, funny.
So I had to call her up and apologize. But anyway.
Yeah, they've had quite a few people come to that Gallo Center.
It's a great place.
I saw Weird Al there. It was awesome.
Now, didn't he just release a new album? I'm sorry. I don't want to lose track of the fact that Betty White just died, but she was 99 years old.
Yeah, we were kind of expecting it at some point in time.
Well, no, because when John Madden died the other day, they said he's 85, but it was unexpected. And I thought to myself, unexpected or
unexpected because he wasn't sick? Maybe, I don't know.
I hadn't seen him in public in a while. I hadn't seen or heard from him. So I just sort of assumed that he was, at 85. I mean, is it really unexpected? I mean, my grandmother of blessed memory died at 82. Mm-hmm. And I remember having a somewhat pointed discussion with the doctor who was there. And he was like, well, she died of congestive heart failure. No, she died because she was 82. She was old. We can't just put that on. Yeah. We got to have some,
reason.
Yeah. Nope. Apparently we got to have a reason. Can't just die of old age. So anyway, John Madden died unexpectedly. So I don't think anybody was expecting Betty White to pass. In fact, they were getting ready. They were probably going to make a big deal out of her 100th birthday. I'm pretty sure of that.
Oh yeah. That would have been huge.
Yeah. Ryan, she might have even gone out on a date with Ryan Reynolds for that.
Maybe. She was hoping for Robert Redford though.
Reynolds tweeted, "The world looks different now. She was great at defying expectations. She managed to grow very old and somehow not old enough. We will miss you, Betty. Now you know the secret." I swear to God, my cat is in this room somewhere. I can hear him picking at things, but I can't find him. So I don't know where the hell he is. But I hear him. Sorry. Completely unrelated to anything we're doing here, which has absolutely nothing to do with anything. It's just us hanging out on a New Year's Eve because I didn't have anything else to do. I was supposed to do this an hour ago. And I told Rod yesterday, I'm going to do this at this time. And we didn't invite Bill, but apparently Bill can't figure out how to use Zoom on a smartphone.
Oh my gosh.
Luddite.
Yeah.
Anyway, he, I don't get that. I don't understand that. That whole mindset of, I'm not going to.
Doesn't want to.
I'm going to have a smartphone. Well, I mean, it took everything we could to get him on the signal.
It did.
And then, now Signal doesn't work the way it's supposed to. So anyway, the point being that he just
Have you tried recently with the? I know there's been a couple of updates.
I haven't tried since then. Maybe we'll do that soon. But at any rate, couldn't get him to do this. And then you sent him the phone number, right? You told him he could do it by phone.
Yeah. Imagine you just dial in. That's what I just did.
Yeah.
But I'm using a Google Voice to do it over my computer, so that way I get my good microphone.
Well, there you go. So you can do any of that stuff. It's the 21st century. I think that's I don't have New Year's resolutions because I don't do that. But if I have a goal for 2021, it's to get Bill screaming and kicking dragged into the 21st century.
Okay, that's a good one. I'll support you on that one.
Because he just doesn't. I mean, I don't know if new technology scares him or if it's just he just thinks he's too old to learn. I don't know what it is, but
I don't know. When you get that old, I mean, who knows?
Well, Betty White was tweeting, right?
Well, I'm sure someone was tweeting for her.
He runs ads on his show. Bill has a face, so he does Facebook. Bill is not a bird, so he does not tweet. I'm thinking about leaving Facebook myself. I don't know.
I've been thinking about that up and on for a long time.
The problem with it is it's so ingrained in everything, and there's so much communication with family and friends that if I do away with it, they won't. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the big problem for me is the family contacts and some old high school friends that I wouldn't know what's going on, in their lives other than
right. And that's what I keep saying to myself. Well, there's people who I would have no connection with, and then I think to myself, so I mean, these people were not fine wines. I didn't like them when I was younger. They didn't get any better with age, neither did I. So why do I want to maintain these connections? And then I think, some of them are actually family.
And then there've been some classmates that have had some, medical issues or something like that. And so I always try and help out when they do the GoFundMe's and try and pitch in $100 here to help them out. And it's nice to be able to do that, which I wouldn't know otherwise. So that's the only thing. It's kind of like, well, the good kind of outweighs the bad at times.
Well, and isn't that the problem though with social media? Is it's so ingrained itself in that way that you can't get rid of it. I mean, you want to, but at the same time, it's like it's near on impossible to get rid of.
Yeah,
and I have found myself with some of the stuff thinking to myself, why am I doing? One of my complaints about myself over the last year and a half is my reading time has really significantly dropped. I mean, I'm just not reading the way I should be. And I think that part of the reason I'm not doing that is because of social media. I get sucked into a rabbit hole. I'm just going to check this real quick and boom. Now, one of the things I did do was on my iPhone, I turned off notifications. So I don't get the little bubble thing that says you have 10 notifications on it. I don't get that. Excuse me.
Well, that's smart.
Well,
yeah,
it did cut down. I think we talked about this on What the Frog because my usage time dropped significantly. It dropped, like 40, 50%. And I've kind of kept it there, but I still think I spend too much time on it. And I know for a fact that in the past month, I've probably bought 7 books. Purchased 7 or 8 books, and I've read maybe 2 pages of them. And I find myself every time I get distracted on social media that I'm yelling at myself, why are you doing this? And and the problem is it's always something quote unquote important. It's always something that my wife wanted to tell me or that my daughter posted for the grandkids or whatever. And my grandson got glasses, by the way. He's like 2 years old. He got glasses last week. It's like,
I'm sure he's thrilled.
Well, they keep bribing him to keep him on. And you want a Hershey's Kiss? Got to wear your glasses.
Yeah, well, that'll work out well.
Yes.
Hey, I can get a Hershey Kiss anytime I take my glasses off.
Right. So I'm not sure that's working the way you think it's going to work. But at any rate, the point being that, as a general rule of thumb, I just feel like I spend too much time on it. And so I keep saying to myself, and I don't bother making New Year's resolutions because I know I'm not going to keep it.
Yeah.
But I keep saying to myself, I really, really, really need to cut down on this. And I know the psychological studies out there that show the dopamine effects and how they've addicted people to this.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, I don't know that I'm addicted in the sense of I couldn't exist if this didn't exist. It's kind of like coffee, you know, I mean, I'm not addicted to coffee. I can stop anytime I want. I just don't want to.
Yeah,
and I feel the same way about social media. I can quit anytime I want. I just don't want to.
Yeah. What helped me was getting rid of the actual apps on the phone. And I use the Brave browser on the phone. And what that does is I don't have to worry about notifications. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Now I can't use Messenger. The Messenger, Facebook Messenger doesn't work through that on the mobile device. So I can only use Messenger on the browser on the computer. But it's actually helped out quite a bit, and they really can't track you as much as they can with their apps installed.
And that is part of my problem is that, because of what I do, I have a good deal of communication with shows and hosts and the likes of that. So I do have to do that. And I guess I did manage to get Bill onto Signal, so maybe I can get these other people Signal too.
Yeah, I've been pushing Signal quite a bit. I have some family members on it. I think most of my family, my wife won't. She's on an iPhone, but she won't switch to Signal. But all my kids, except for, my oldest, actually out in Atlanta, she's on an iPhone too. It won't change, but oh well.
I'm on an iPhone and I use it.
Yeah.
The hell, people.
I think it's because she uses Messenger, and so I don't know, those with iPhones, Messenger works natively for them, and they'd have to switch.
Yeah, but that's not the Facebook Messenger. That's the iPhone Messenger.
The iMessage or whatever it is.
Right. Now, I do like that. I do like that, and for communicating with other iPhones, it's great. But for just standard SMS, it's no different than anything else. I don't know why you'd get that natively entranced with it, but I guess some people do.
I really like the fact that Signal has a desktop app.
Yes.
And I use the desktop app all the time. In fact, it's up right now. And that's where I clicked on the link for that Zoom you sent me.
Right. I like it. The only problem with the Signal desktop app, you really have to pay attention to the instructions to get it to work. It's not intuitive. You have to really, really pay attention to what you're doing when you install it. So, and it's not hard. You just have to read the instructions. You can't just assume that you know what it's doing. And man, because you got to link an account that has to be a mobile account. So then you have to use the camera. And it's like, I swear to God, the first time I installed it, it took a while. And then I forgot about how to do it. So when I bought the new computer, I had to reinstall it. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? And I'm like, I'm not going to text Rod and say, what am I doing wrong here? Because I'm going to, I know this works. Going to figure it out.
Hey, I have to step away real fast.
All right.
The missus is calling me, so I'll be right back.
All right. Well, and anyway, there's room for the rest of you if you want to jump in here. You can do it. It's on the Facebook page, Plausibly Live, the Facebook page. The link to this. We're not going to be here forever today. I'm in Zoom, so I have an hour and a half limit max anyway, of which I burned a significant portion of that getting set up. So anyway, I just thought I'd hang out on a New Year's Eve. There's no agenda here. There's no show here, is what I'm saying. So if you're expecting something profound from me about how, what's happening in the world today, you're not going to get it. But at the same time, I am here. So, it's if you ever really just wanted to pop in and talk to somebody, today's the day to do it. The interesting thing is, so coming up in the new year, I've already started working on next year's shows. I've already started working on things that I want to improve on for next year. One of the things I do want to get back to is video. Some years ago, I paid a consultant to talk to me about video, how to do something. To this day, I can't believe I did this, but I paid this person to advise me about how to grow Plausibly Live. And the sad part is I don't really care that much. It's not, I've said this before and I will say it again. Plausibly Live, it's really for Ben. It's so that someday in the far distant future, when Ben wants to know more about me and who I was, then that'll all be there for him. It's one of the reasons why I try to use permanent and or free platforms to store stuff, so that he can access it, so that it won't go away when I die and I stop paying the bills and the likes of that. But at any rate, I paid this person to do this, and that's what they said. Got to do video. People only watch videos. People don't listen to podcasts. People don't listen to radio. They watch television. They watch videos. And I don't know if I believe that or not. I think that's kind of oversimplified.
Maybe the younger generation.
Maybe. I mean, Ben does. But at the same time,
my two youngest watch YouTube all the time.
Right. And I find that I watch YouTube more than I used to. But at the same time, I don't know that it's the only thing. But anyway, I'm starting to work on next year for this, and I want to get back into videos. But I will tell you that video is a pain in the ass. I mean, it really is, because you can't use the initial recorded video. You just can't do that. You gotta massage it. You gotta render it. And the biggest thing you got to do is you have to record in really high quality. This is true of audio as well. You record in very high quality, and then you reduce that from, for example, in audio, you take a wave file that's in very high bit rate and sounds really good. Excuse me. And you reduce it down to an MP3 file, because that way people can actually listen to it. I used to have a friend in this business who would upload the wave files, the original wave files, as his podcast.
Oh.
And he couldn't understand why nobody was listening to his podcast. That's what I said to him. I said, you're uploading literally your 1 hour podcast is literally, if someone has, and this was back in the days of, limited, where you had, 5 gigs of transfer, you're uploading literally what is, half of somebody's monthly allocation in one show. They're not going to listen to that. So anyway, you download it to MP3 format to get it to be listenable. And the same is true of video. And that's what takes the time with video, is that you do if I do a half-hour video show, it takes me, 45 minutes to record, because I got to set up and do all that stuff. But then that half-hour video literally takes 3 to 4 hours to, if I don't have to edit anything, I got to go back in and I got to redub the audio, because the audio on video recordings tends to be not as good. So I got to go back in and do that. And then I have to render the thing, and to render it down takes a while. And then you got to upload it. And let me tell you what, uploading video takes for freaking ever. And I have good internet, but I don't have great internet.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to afford great internet. See, but it's just,
I have great internet, but we stream. I have got basically 3 adults, and we stream everything, and we have 4K TV. And so I don't, that's the problem I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 adults. Yeah.
Is that right? 4 adults and 3 kids. And you only got so much bandwidth. So anyway, I want to get back into doing video, because I think video has some potential to it. I don't know that I want to do like I was doing before, where I was, producing a freaking slideshow and all that stuff. And I don't know that I want to do all that, but
yeah.
So,
well, I just now got an HD camera for my computer, so I might play around with it.
Right. So you got an HD camera, so you called.
Well, you didn't have a link.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
No, I didn't. I only had call-in numbers from what you sent me.
Getting set up now. Look at the one right above that. It says getting set up now 47 minutes ago. And then the one right below. See?
Oh, okay. I looked at the other one that you
sent. Like Signal, man. You got to read the instructions. Well, I put that in there because Bill was theoretically going to call in, because he won't use Signal, or he won't use Zoom. So I put that in there. But at any rate, life goes on. What are you going to do? Anyway, so back to 2021. That's one of the things I want to do, is I want to get back to doing video shows. But you know what I'm running into, Ron? This is so stupid. Okay, so I'm still waiting on the cables for the thing that we talked about, the other thing, right? It was supposed to be delivered yesterday, but weather. So who knows when that gets here. So put that aside. Here's the other problem I'm running into. When I bought this computer, I guess I wasn't paying real close attention to things. It has a 500 gig solid state drive, which is basically nothing. I mean, it's so I've already had to put on an external hard drive, and that slows things down. So I'm running into this thing where recording videos is like, man, I got and just my base stuff. I mean, three-fourths of that drive is full just with program stuff. So it's like, and so I'm in the process of, should I buy a new internal solid state drive? Should I just buy a huge external drive? And part of me says the external drive is better. I was surprised solid state drives don't have a really good reputation for being, what's the term? They don't have a reputation for being long lasting. But external drives are the same way. They don't really last as long as they should. I've had some that have lasted forever, but there you are.
Yeah.
Well, that's a sharp looking camera, dude.
It is. It's a nice Logitech 1080p.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at this, Rod has this nice sunset on the ocean.
It's from Hawaii.
And I have this snow covered. That's my house, by the way. As she appears right now.
Oh, there you go.
I bought this some time ago. I bought one of these.
Uh-huh.
It's really nice. So I thought about putting this out in the lawn and using it as my background. It's a security camera thing because it's actually HD. It's very sharp.
Yeah. So you have the dog that wanders in the frame and lifts his leg on it.
Yeah. God, that happened to me one time. So in Modesto, there's this UHF radio television station. I think it's channel 14 down there.
Maybe.
Can't remember the guy's name that owns it, Frank something. But he's famous for being this really off the wall kind of self-promoter thing. Anyway, so when I was working in my previous job, part of my job was fundraising. Mm-hmm. And we were doing a capital campaign. So I had to go on his shows, his talk show, and talk about this capital campaign fundraising thing. Well, I get out there to the studio, which is in a barn. Now, I'm not criticizing that at all, because if I had a barn to put my studio in right now, I'd be excited instead of my office. But it's actually in a barn on a farm, which is not that big a surprise in the Stanislaus County area. But we're in the middle of this discussion about raising money to build buildings, and into the studio wanders a dog. Right? So there's this panel thing that we're sitting at.
Uh-huh.
It's green floor, cameras about 10, 12 feet away, right? Dog wanders into the space between us. And remember, it's hot because the lights are on.
Sure.
Dog just dumps one right in the middle of the floor.
How funny.
Wanders off. And let me tell you what, dude, it was one of the worst I'd ever smelled in my life. And I'm on the air, and I'm trying to.
You're trying not to gag.
So Frank says, "Well, let's go to commercial." It's a UHF station. It's a public access. We don't have commercials, right?
Yeah.
So they went to whatever the commercial was, and then cleaned it up. But the stench was that was an adventure. Keep waiting for my cats to do that now. One of them did that to me yesterday.
Really?
They were pissed about something. I don't know what it was. But anyway, I'm just sitting here. Cat wanders in and then wanders out. I'm like, you son of a... I hate these cats. I really do.
We had a cat that was just, as it got older, it stopped using the litter box. It was just going pee everywhere.
Right.
So we had to actually cage him. We put him in we got a large, like almost like a rabbit cage, I guess, that had multiple tiers. And the last few years of his life was in that cage.
Sad.
Yeah.
I get it. People love pets. My wife loves cats. I'm just not much of a cat guy myself. Dogs do the same thing. I mean, Jack used to do the same thing, but it's like I was much more forgiving to Jack than I was with these cats. Because I think when Jack would do it, he would at least feel bad about it. He would like, dude, I didn't have a choice. I'm sorry.
I couldn't hold it, man.
Cats are like, yeah, I did it. What are you going to do about it?
Well, dogs have owners. Cats have staff. So,
and I'm not even their staff. They belong to my wife. They're not my cats.
No, but they expect you to clean up after them. So that's the thing.
Wake up half the night, cat sitting on my chest. Why is he on me? Because you're warm. All right. And we got to leave the bedroom door open because the cats want to come and go, which would be okay if we didn't have a million people living here.
Yeah.
And the bathroom is, so like our bedroom door sits right here and the bathroom door sits right here.
Uh-huh.
So they open the bathroom door, turn on the lights, and the light comes through right in my freaking face.
We used to, when we had cats, we used to just lock them out of the bedroom.
Well, I do that, but then they tear up the carpets. And they stand there and go, meow, meow, I want in, meow, meow.
Well, that's because we started it when they were younger, so we didn't have that problem. Because otherwise, the few times that we let them in, we had one specifically that would burrow down underneath the blankets and then start attacking our feet in the middle of the night. It's like, what the heck?
Wow. Are they really doing a 3-hour preview for the college football playoff game?
I have no idea. I don't watch college football.
Oh, no, wait. It already started. No wonder. Oh. All right. Guess I should change to that. Can't really stay on the college football playoff, but
nope. Well, I'm going to try and lose weight this year, Dave.
Why? I'm
too heavy.
I am too, but I look at it this way, and I don't want to take anything away from your.
No.
We'll circle back to your goal here, because I really am interested in your life, Rod.
I'm sure you are.
I've lost 100 pounds 4 times in my life.
Yeah.
I just can't do it anymore. I just can't do it. It's torn up the price it's cost me in damaged joints and surgeries, and I just can't do it anymore. So I've just said to myself, you know what? I'm 270 pounds, and I'm just going to be 270 pounds.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm 250. And so I'd like to be under 200 if I can help it. COVID has not helped because it's the COVID 25, maybe COVID 30 for me. Wow. Since we've been home and working too close to the refrigerator. Yeah, that's part of the problem. And I've done pretty good with it, Rod. I mean, I walk, this. I walk a lot. Up until the snow on the 26th, I was, 10,000 steps a day. And then the snow came and it's like, okay, so I guess I got to go to the gym to walk because the mall closed. So I went to the gym and the gym was closed. And I was like, well, I don't know how I'm supposed to do this because I'm not going to pace around this house for 10,000 steps. Just not doing it. So I figure once the snow's gone and the gym's opened up again, I'll start getting back at it. But I did pretty well. Did you ever get that elliptical bike you were looking at? Did not. I have an elliptical. I have one. Yeah. I also have a garage full of kids' stuff. I have an elliptical too. Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. It's a really good one too. It is. I need to find a home for it though. Might be the best one I've ever seen. And I have a cheap one that I bought, but I have a garage full of kids' storage. Yeah. So I can't. I have a lawnmower in the garage right now. Yeah. I have a lawnmower somewhere in my garage. I can't even get to my workbench anymore. So nope. I went and got the battery for my lawnmower and brought it up here because cold is bad for batteries. So yeah. It's up here in my, I'm not, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining or anything, but I got way too many people's stuff in my garage that isn't mine. So you have way too many people in your house. Yeah. That's a touchy subject these days. Yeah, anyway. We won't go into that. No, we probably shouldn't. Well, we will go into some of this other stuff coming up on January 9th when we come back for What the Frock. Not sure when I'm coming back for. Not sure when Plausibly Live's coming back. It might be the 10th. I am going to be on Bill's show Tuesday the 4th because Bill's insane. I don't know if you knew this or not. Bill's like when I used to work with Bill in Modesto on radio. So
It's a holiday. Pick a holiday. I don't care which one. 4th of July, Independence Day. Oh, we got to be on the air. And Independence Day is when we have, or holidays is when we have listener guest hosts. So the listeners come in and they get to guest. So we'd still have to work. So
what's the point of that?
Right. So Bill's been bitching for weeks about having to burn his vacation because he's got too much vacation built up.
Oh, is that why he's all?
That's why he's taking off all these 3-day weekends because he has to. And then he goes to work on holidays. And it's like today's the 31st of December. It's Friday, the federal holiday. Yeah. So Bill goes and does a show today. And he's coming back on Tuesday the 4th. So anyway, I'll be on Tuesday the 4th. We're changing up what we do this year. Instead of me just chattering, I guess it's going to be a little more focused. So he wants me to do, and he pulled this from one of my shows last week. He wants to do more history stuff, relate history to modern. So a couple weeks ago, I was talking about Putin's ultimatum to Ukraine and the rest of the world, and contrasted that to the way Germany in 1914 did virtually the same thing, which was, a lot of people talk about the worst blunder in history. I still think that may be it. People talk about Hitler, World War II, two front. Really, Germany attacking Belgium in 1914 was the dumbest thing anybody ever did. I mean, it just hands down was. Anyway, so we're going to start talking more about that kind of stuff. So I started putting together, groups of things to compare stuff that's happening today with stuff that happened in history. And so that'll start on Tuesday morning at 5 a.m. for those of us that live in the real world, 8 a.m. for the East Coast people.
I try to make those. I try to make it just to call in to say hi. And I'm lucky if my alarm, I try to set my alarm, but then it's like, no, it's not going to work.
What's weird about the whole thing to me is I get up at 3 those mornings. Normally at night I have to take ibuprofen and melatonin and stuff in order to sleep, but on those nights I don't take anything because
so you wake up naturally now at 3 a.m.
3 a.m. Right.
Same reason why I take melatonin and those things, because I don't want to wake up at 3 a.m.
It's weird to me because last night I took Benadryl, Tylenol PM, which I should never do. My wife will tell you I'm a very lightweight when it comes to medication. So I took that at like 8 p.m. And I got up. I had a bunch of stuff I needed to do this morning so I could be ready to do this at noon. And I got up at like 10:30. I'm like, crap. So I texted Ron, I'm going to be late. Yeah. It's a good thing I didn't announce this. It's a good thing I didn't put this in the agenda, because otherwise
I'm the opposite. I have to take more medication for it to actually affect me and last longer. Otherwise, when the doctor gave me at one point, Vicodin, he said, well, let's start with 1. If you need 2, take 2. I'd start with 1. And I'm like, when's it supposed to hit? Because I'm not feeling anything.
Wow. When I had my back spasm thing a few weeks ago, so they gave me Toradol, intravenously Toradol.
Yeah.
She's like, is that doing anything? Because I was still I'm like, not really. And she's like, and my wife is sitting there going, yeah, he's kind of a lightweight when it comes to this medication stuff. So they gave me something else. Demerol? Does that sound right?
Yeah, Demerol.
Started with a D. That's all I remember. Yeah. She's like, I'm going to give you this. It'll take 15 minutes or so for it to kick in. And like 5 minutes later, man. Yeah, I'm ready to go home now. I feel great.
Yeah.
A fiasco that was. I'm having back spasms. I got to go to the emergency room.
Well, and you were dehydrated.
I was dehydrated, yeah. But I could have fixed that.
Well, yeah.
But it could be your kidneys. It's not my kidneys. I've had kidney stones. It's not kidney stones. Because there is one overwhelming symptom of kidney stones that nobody ever talks about. That, believe me, if you've had kidney stones, you know what I'm talking about. There's one symptom that you get before any of the other symptoms kick in. You get this symptom. And believe me, if you're a guy, you know what I'm talking about. And I didn't have that.
I've never had them. I've never had stones, so I don't know.
Let's just say that there is an intense needle-like pain in the place that you least want an intense needle-like pain.
In the plumbing?
Yeah.
Ugh.
The very end of the plumbing. And believe me, if that doesn't happen, I don't really care what else is happening to you. It's probably not kidney stones. Because I've been through 4 bouts of kidney stones, and I'm telling you, every time, that was the worst part. Not even the part where I'm up wandering around for hours throwing up everything was as bad as that. So the first time it happened, I had no clue what was happening. None whatsoever. I had no idea what's happening here. All I know is I had this pain. Now I have this pain. Now I'm throwing up, and they take me to the emergency room where my ex-wife abandoned me. I'm not kidding. Ended up passing the kidney stone, and it was a Sunday, and I was a pastor at the time. So she just left me there to go do pastor stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, point being is, okay, now I know what it is. So the next time it happened, I'm like, okay, I know what it is, so now I can deal with it. And then the third time it happened, I even went to work. And people were looking at me, are you okay? I said, well, I'm passing a kidney stone, but I'm all right otherwise.
Yeah. Drinking a lot of water.
God, I was stupid. So that was the problem with my ankle. So for a year, I've been having this problem with my ankle, just pain. I mean, just horrible pain in my ankle. And every now and then, when I put pressure on it, weight on it, it just gone. And I end up falling down. I'm like, what the heck's going on with my ankle? What's wrong? So I ended up finally went to the doctor this week for my ankle. And she's looking at it. She says, okay, so what do you think is wrong with it? Which I've never had a doctor say to me before. Never. Said, well, with my highly technical internet medical degree, here's what I learned online.
Your PhD.
I thought it was my PhD in divinity. Said, I thought it was tendonitis because it felt like tendonitis, but none of the treatments for tendonitis, the home treatments for tendonitis work. Nothing. So she says, well, let's get some x-rays. So she takes an x-ray of the thing, comes back like 15 minutes later, and she says, okay, you have anterior ankle impingement syndrome.
Okay. Should I pull out my phone and look that up on the internet, or are you going to tell me?
What does that mean? And she shows me on the thing, and sure enough, I've got bone spurs.
Okay.
So like, that's it. That's what's causing all this bone spurs. And she says, yeah, because the bone spurs actually the bone spurs are your body's reaction to keep your foot from moving too far to cause more damage.
Yeah.
Well, then my body's a genius, huh?
Yeah.
She started laughing. She says, I said, so what do we do about it? She says, nothing.
Yeah.
You can, get some shoes with higher heels or something and, change how your gait walks. But we could go in surgically with a scope and remove them. But the problem then is your foot will move normally, and what those bone spurs are preventing from happening will happen. Like, well, and what I've noticed since she told me all this was, yeah, my ankle still hurts, but you know what? I don't care, because now I know what's wrong.
Now you know. Same
with kidney stones. Now that I know what it was, I'm like, well, okay, as long as I don't die, I guess I'm all right. Which is kind of my attitude.
That's an ankle stone.
Yeah. But anyway, I love telling people I have anterior ankle impingement syndrome. And I'm thinking about starting like a GoFundMe campaign.
That would be funny.
Millions of people suffer from anterior ankle impingement syndrome. It's a tragedy that need not happen in this world. What we need is money for research. Donate today.
AAIS.
Yes.
A's.
Donate today. See, if I was still on the air, I'd probably do that.
Donate today.
Did I ever tell you about the web hit thing?
Uh-uh.
So Clear Channel, as it was then, came out with this thing about we need more web hits.
Okay.
I'm like, well, I have no control over what's on the website at all. None.
Oh.
This was 2012. So I have nothing to do with it. I don't get to put anything on the website. I don't get to control the website. None of this. Well, you need to tell people to go to the website more. Okay. So that's what we did. Told people to go to the website. And that didn't work. Surprisingly, people did not go log on to the website because our website, for those of you who were part of the show back then, sucked badly.
Well, that and like, I was a listener back then and I was driving. So I can't like just stop and go to the website.
So I hit on this idea one day when they told us we had to increase web hits, or it was going to be the end of the universe if we didn't increase web hits, because we're a radio show. So we need to increase web hits because I don't know. So I hit on this idea about what if we turn this into some sort of fundraising thing? Every web hit, doesn't matter if you read it or not, just go to the website, click on something, helps prevent earthquakes in California. And I mean, we did a PSA, we had the whole 9 yards, man. And listeners were like, wait, what? And then they would call up and I would be, in all seriousness, I would say, yes, it helps prevent earthquakes.
Yeah. And they would go click the link just to find out.
They would go click on the website and I would tell them, you don't even have to read anything. Just click it. That helps prevents the earthquake. The more clicks, the more earthquakes are prevented. And this went on for like a month, right? So we're sitting in this promotions meeting, and the GM says, KFIV's website hits are up like 3,000%. We're in the top 10 in the country, right? And he looks at me, he says, good job, Dave. Can you tell everybody else here what you've been doing?
Oh my gosh. Oh,
I'm like,
sure.
I said, I can't tell you what I've been doing. He goes, why not? Because I'm pretty sure if I tell you, you're not going to be happy. He says, and then he gets all serious. He's like, no, seriously, I want to know. I said, okay. It's pretty clear you don't listen to my show.
It's pretty clear.
Basically, I've just been begging people to go to the website. I keep telling them, you don't have to look at anything. You don't got to read anything. But trust me, it'll save my job if you just go click on the website.
It'll save lives.
Save lives. Shortly after which, there was a memo from the company telling people, don't do that.
Thus proving it is better to, beg forgiveness than to ask permission.
Right? I didn't even ask for forgiveness. I just said, you told me to increase web hits. So I did. What's your problem now? I mean, I told you it was ridiculous, but
you didn't give me any qualifiers. You didn't say what I couldn't do.
I mean, this is the same company that, by the way, on our website, a KFIV website, Conservative Talk Radio website, has a Babe of the Day section. And that wasn't generating web hits for them. They couldn't figure out why. Like, well, I don't know what to. So this is when I came up with the idea, Rod. This is a no bleeper. This is when I came up with the idea of, okay, we have all these studios that are not being used right now because everything is tracked, everything is,
sure.
And we got all these people calling us every day saying, well, how do I get my own show? How do I get my own show? And then when we tell them, well, you just got to buy time. Well, how much does time cost? $300 an hour. And they're like, okay, why don't we take all those people, charge them $25 a week to do a podcast, just record their show in their studios, put it on our website as a hear your local podcast shows, charge them $25 a week. Well, why wouldn't we charge them $300 a week? Because they're not going to pay $300 a week. No. They'll pay $25 a week. And it's $25 that you don't have now.
That'll generate clicks.
You get 4 shows. You get 4 shows, you get $100 a week, and you generate clicks and downloads and eyeballs. And you know what I was told? Well, we couldn't do that.
I have no clue. What would they tell you?
Because if we do that, then these shows will be competing with our on-air talent.
Okay.
People will be listening to the podcast instead of Rush Limbaugh or Sean Hannity, or God forbid, Dave, even you. I'm like, yeah, but you'll be getting paid and you'll be generating clicks and eyeballs and and you'll still be getting paid by the sponsors on our show.
So then
some of whom might want podcasts.
You publish your radio show, right? Links to recorded episodes of the radio show. And
but it was like, well, no, we don't want to do that. So that was actually the genesis of the idea for Podcast 99 came from that. Yeah. Came from that. Please click on our website to help prevent earthquakes. Came from that very thing. Talk about so stupid. Funny. Talk about, I mean, just corporate ideology is some days you just think to yourself, well, can these people really be that stupid?
They can.
Hi, Dave. This is Emily with DAV. We're hours from the new year. We need you to give a gift. I've already done all my end of the year donating. Have you?
Yeah, for the most part.
I was going to say, you only got about 12 hours left. So, well, 11 hours left.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in my circle that were needing help this year, so I'm trying to donate them. It's not tax deductible, but oh well.
I think mine is, but I don't know if I read a thing this week that if you make $300 in donations, you can still deduct it even if you don't itemize. So I pushed mine up to just over 300 for the year because really I don't like to donate to people. There are organizations I will donate to, but not as a.
I'm going to get kind of hosed on taxes, I think, this year.
I think we are too, because Cammy made a lot more money this year. A lot more money.
Well, I lost a deduction because my youngest is 18.
Whoops.
And so now it's just two adults, right, filing joint. And then I actually made some money off of the game stock.
Right. I remember talking about that. You made.
I made several thousand on that one, and so I'm gonna have to. The Piper's gonna have to pay when taxes come.
They're just gonna take all that in taxes, aren't they?
I had some crypto that made some unrealized gains, and I guess they, So it'll be an interesting tax year for
this week. Crypto is just IPAs for nerds. Well, I don't know if that's true or not, but
did you see that there's I guess the whole Let's Go Brandon now has
yes, I did
has their own crypto now.
And
it's sponsoring the actual driver Brandon.
Yeah. Who last week was in the news because he couldn't get sponsors for his car anymore because people were blaming him for Let's Go Brandon, which he had nothing to do with. I mean, he just happens to be the Brandon that was standing there, but so he couldn't get any sponsors. People were like, oh, he's talking. So now he has a sponsor, lgbcoin.com.
Yeah.
It's a cryptocurrency. They're sponsoring his car. And he's like, have you seen the ad for it? Where he's standing out front like,
I have not seen the ad for that, but I can only imagine it's pretty funny.
It is hardcore. So he's now driving the lgbcoin.com car in whatever level it is he's racing at.
Yeah.
So now people see this is the Streisand effect on a massive scale.
Yeah.
Because now people are going to be chanting, "Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon!
They are.
Go, Brandon!" And they only have themselves to blame for it.
Yeah.
Because they
just wait. If Joe decides to run again,
yes, he already said he's going to run again.
Well, he said he is, but whether he is and is capable of it are two different things. But if he does, that whole "Let's Go, Brandon" thing is going to be up to a whole nother level. Yeah.
Which is great. I don't know, man. I'm looking at that going, I don't even like NASCAR.
No.
So that's another legacy of Bill. Bill made me watch NASCAR.
Did he?
Because we used to do this show called On the Road. Now, later on the Road would become me and Greg Ray. But when it first started, it was a car dealership. And I was just the producer. So it was Bill and this car dealer. And so I was just the producer and blah, blah, blah. But they wanted to add, you got to fill an hour. How do you talk about cars for an hour? Car sales for an hour. Do you know how to buy a car?
Do I know how to buy a car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only talk about that so many times. Anyway, so he's like, Dave, give me a NASCAR report. I don't know anything about NASCAR. Well, you better start watching it then. So I had to literally go start watching NASCAR. It was right when they were coming out with the Car of Tomorrow nonsense. And it's like, this is the most boring thing on the entire planet.
I like the Formula One racing better than NASCAR.
I like Formula One better than I like NASCAR. But if I'm going to watch racing, I only want to watch IndyCar. I don't care for the rest of it. So, and even IndyCar has become, it's almost become the technology that's interesting, like the ERS, the energy recovery systems, and I enjoy watching. The thing I don't like about Formula One is it's not as much racing as it is qualifying. Because once you have your position, there's not a lot of. I mean, there is some, but not
what they need to do is they need to do this with electric cars to show you they're going to have to swap batteries, right? The quick change is going to be swapping batteries.
Forget that. Make them recharge it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in the pit for 27 minutes. Oh, that's a quick charge. Get him back out on the track. That's how they got to do it, man. Yeah. And then the whole time they're doing that, you can run commercials because, we're under the yellow, so everybody's coming in to charge.
Yeah.
Out for 20 minutes. That one guy that's got like 5% of his battery, he's like, no, I'm going to keep going because it's the
I can make it. Yeah, I can make it.
If I just gain, 3 or 4 more laps on them, then I can charge for 20 minutes while they catch up.
I'm running on watts. God,
that would be great, wouldn't it?
It would.
I wouldn't tune in for that either.
No.
Anyway, let's go BrandonCoin.com. Yeah. I'm not shilling for them because they don't pay me anything to do it, but I bet once people start hearing about it, they're going to go like, well, I need to get me some of that there crypto. Don't even know what it is, but I'm going to get me some.
I wonder if Coinbase is actually, I'll have to look at my account.
Let's see. Bill said we're still here, I said to him. Anyway, the point being that there's that may be one of the best stories of the year right there.
Yeah.
Because they really screwed that guy over. I mean, they really screwed him over.
Yeah.
And then to come back with now we're going to have, let's go Brandon Coin.
Yeah.
And have we heard anything from that gal since then? I don't watch any. I don't really watch any sports other than football anyway. So I don't know if they're.
Let's go Brandon. Right now is it's up 17% so far.
Peloton ought to invest in that.
Boy, oh boy. You know what? They pivoted really well with the help of Ryan Reynolds.
Well, for a day, and then did you see what happened?
Well, yeah, but then I started wondering, okay, where were these people that came out with charges against this guy? I mean, how many years ago was that? And how come they're not?
How come they come out right after Ryan Reynolds' ad comes out countering the Peloton thing?
Yeah.
Why didn't it come out before that when he was on the show?
When he was actually, when they made the comments that he was going to come out on the show,
right?
When he was going to be back this season, and everyone was all excited because it wasn't Mr. Big. I never watched this show, but just very silly. I was just like, why? What's the motivation to come out now and say it?
Right. Well, we talked about that on What the Frock, and then the day after that, we learned that Peloton did not know that he was going to die.
No,
they had no idea, and they were like, they approved the use of the Peloton bike and the aerobics instructor.
Yeah,
and then they killed him off, and they're like, oh crap, what's happening with our stock price? Ryan, where you at? See, the only way that would have been better is if you'd have put Betty White in that commercial.
That would have been
before
fun.
She died. Put her in there,
or had him die off drinking Aviator gin.
God, that first Aviator gin commercial with the gal from the Peloton ad the year before.
Oh yeah,
that was freaking classic, and just the way they handled the whole thing. It's just. Well, that was my favorite tweet of the year. Was we all out here analyzing this Peloton ad like it's the Zapruder film or something? My God, this guy's terrible. He's mistreating his wife. He's saying his wife's too fat, so he bought her a Peloton bike. Like, look, I'm a pretty big guy. If my wife bought me a Peloton bike, I'd be pretty happy about it.
Yeah.
Don't think I'd be all that upset, and I don't think. I'm pretty sure that if I bought her one, she wouldn't be feeling like that. But
yeah, well, especially if she had an interest in an exercise bike in general. I mean,
yeah, and I don't think she does because she's just not it. She's like me. She likes to walk. Now, look, I like the elliptical. I like to ride my bike. I used to ride my bike a lot. Now I'm actually terrified of riding the bike now because I'm afraid my balance issues are so iffy. I mean, even when I walk now, I use a stick because I'm never sure. And that's one of the curses of getting old, I think, is that you start realizing that things you used to do many years ago with ease. Like I said, 4 times in my life, I've lost 100 pounds.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
It's that transition in your mind, right? Because your mind thinks that, oh yeah, I can still do this stuff.
Right.
But you have to transition so that the mind realizes, well, wait a second, I really can't do this stuff anymore.
I still have these lucid dreams where I'm playing hockey. And I mean, in my younger days, I wasn't a great hockey player, but I was pretty good. But I have these lucid dreams where I'm freaking Wayne Gretzky, man. And then I wake up and realize I hurt just from having the dream about playing hockey. God, I used to get the crap beat out of me playing hockey. Man, I would have bruises that wouldn't heal for months. Because there was one time where I hit my knee really hard into the boards. And yeah, I wasn't wearing knee pads, but it bruised it pretty good. And then for like the next 6 months of playing, every single freaking game, I'd get hit right on that knee. Something, a puck, a stick, whatever. And it's like, man, this is never going to heal. Well, it would if you'd stop playing. Yeah, that's not going to happen. So,
yeah. Wow.
And then when I shattered my hand. So it was probably the most gentle fall I've ever had playing hockey.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of behind the net and turning. Anyway, I went down, hit my knee into the ground. My knee was like, boom. And then I hit my hand and kind of ratcheted over. And I felt something in my hand. I was like, oh, crap, my hands hurt. But man, my knee. So I had to skate over to the bench and I was like, man, my knee. And sitting there on the bench going, my knee's really messed up. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I went back out on the next shift because it's hockey.
Sure.
Somebody threw me a pass over the middle and I went to shoot and it was like somebody stabbed me in my hand.
Huh.
Frack, dropped my stick, the whole 9 yards. Skate off, take my glove off for the first time, and it's obvious my hand was mangled.
Yeah.
Broken, shattered. There's like 3 bones in here, shattered. So I got to go to the emergency room, still in my hockey gear, minus the skates. And the guy that does the x-ray goes, I can't tell you that your hand's shattered in 3 places because I'm just an x-ray tech, but I can't, Anyway, I end up hand surgery. So I've got my hand in a cast for 4 weeks or whatever. I'm trying to figure out if I cut the glove, can I get the glove over the cast? And it was like, no, you really shouldn't do that. So anyway, the day the cast comes off, right?
Yeah.
Doc takes the cast off, and that first few minutes of having a cast removed, I don't know if you've ever experienced that.
Yeah, I have.
Anyway, so I joints were popping, the whole 9 yards, So I looked at him and said, can I play hockey tonight? Because we had a game scheduled that night. He looks at me and goes, might as well. You're going to anyway.
Yeah.
So I went out and played. Of course, I scored a goal. Anyway, I have these lucid dreams that I can still play hockey, but I cannot. I don't even think I could put on skates. Do you realize how much time it takes me to put on my slippers in the morning? The effort that I have to go through. It's like, holy crap. So what's Bill saying? He can't get in. It hangs up on me before I can get the meeting ID number.
Yeah, now he has to get ready for dinner with his sister.
Don't you just have to call the number?
You do. That's what I did. You called the number. It asks for the meeting identifier. So you put in the meeting identifier.
If you just use Zoom app on your phone, Bill, you wouldn't need any of that.
In my day, we didn't have this Zoom stuff. We had call party lines, and we liked it.
Yeah, probably did.
Dagnabbit.
Kicking and screaming, Bill. Kicking and screaming. You will be dragged into the 21st century. One way or the other. So there you go. Well, I'm about out of time. I got to get on with the rest of my day for.
Yeah. I got to go find out what it is that I did wrong and why my wife had interrupted me before. So.
Oh, did we do something wrong? Do you want to hang out?
I did something. She couldn't find her key to her car that I had. I had just.
Oh, dude! So, and you came back here to talk to me without finding the key.
She found the key and took off and didn't say that she found the key. So I'm in the doghouse somewhere.
Well, it was nice knowing you, Rod.
Yep.
And that's a great way to end 2021 and look forward to the Charlie Foxtrot that will be 2022. Have a great day, everybody. And we will see you on the 9th, right? Is it the 9th for What the Frock?
I don't have my calendar in front of me, but it's around that date.
Yeah, it's right around there. And then I think, the 9th, and then I'll be back on the 10th probably with Plausibly Live, and then we'll be on the 4th with Bill Mick for history stuff and take care of all that. So have a great New Year's, everybody. Don't drink and drive, and we will see you. I wanted to do this long. Okay. See you next year, Rod.
See you next year, Dave.
Take care, everybody. Have a great day.